Next tonight, three people who worked closely with Reading head teacher Ruth Perry have all said they thought her death in January this year was linked to the Ofsted inspection at her school less than 2 months earlier. An inquest has been hearing about the visit by inspectors to Caversham Primary and the impact it had on Mrs Perry. Joe Campbell is outside Reading Town Hall for us this evening. Joe, what unfolded at the hearing today?
Well, what has been happening at the inquest is that they've been hearing from Ruth Perry's two deputies and her chair of governors. And when they'd finished giving their evidence, the coroner, Heidi Connor, turned to them and said to ask them, did they think that Ruth Perry's death in January this year was linked to the Ofsted inspection barely 2 months earlier? Yes, they all replied, before one of them, Claire Jones-King, added, definitely. Now, the school thought that in actual fact that omissions in its records on safekeeping of children could be addressed in just a matter of days. So when it emerged that they were being downgraded from outstanding to inadequate, well, the chair of governors reminded the lead inspector, Alan Derry, of something he'd said. He had actually told him that in fact the safeguarding was robust and that no child was in danger. Mr Derry said that he shouldn't have said that, and his bosses had effectively ticked him off for saying so. Now, the inquest heard that Mrs Perry had initially planned to appeal the decision, but education officials said that was unlikely to succeed, and as a consequence, she threw all her efforts into addressing the problems that Ofsted said that they had found. They also heard that when the inspectorate returned to the school back in June of this year, several months after Mrs Perry had taken her own life, well, at that stage, the entire atmosphere was completely different, with teachers being asked repeatedly, were they OK? And did they think that their own colleagues were OK? One of her deputies, who is now helping to run the school, saying that even got to the stage that just before she sat down for a meeting, one of the inspectors had paused and wanted to make sure that first she had a cup of tea before it got underway.
OK, Joe Campbell in Reading, thank you.